I truly love you all. I do. And it's about 3:52 Eastern Standard Time. And it is Monday. And I pray to God that you guys set your notifications. Sometimes I rest on Mondays. However, I felt a pull. Cassin, Kiana, Lady T. Tisdale, God bless you. Cassandra Flint, it is an honor. Cassandra Smith, Vivian Ingalls said Pastor. Akeisha Taylor. B. Ray Williams said hi. Hey. God bless you to all of you. Nikisha Johnson, I hope you guys are setting your notification. It was good to see you too. Linda Martin. Erica Page is saying good morning or good afternoon. Tanya Harding, it's an honor. Angela Allen, good afternoon to you. Adrian Green. Chelsea Gibson, I am amazing, simply amazing. Renee G. Shepherd, how are you and how is your daughter and your family? Cassandra Edwards, it's good to see you, my songbird. I will be coming to Los Angeles soon. Keisha Taylor, God bless you. Elaine Walker, I want to say I love you all. Antoinette, Alice, God bless you. Aroma, Dottie, Keith Reynolds is still celebrating her husband's birthday. Minister Stefanetta is going to do the Grief Gab game night. I hope to see you all there. Shelly Ann Dixon from Jamaica is on here. Missy Perna, happy birthday. You're still celebrating. Shane, Mother Cece, Tina Sharp. Iris, it's good to see you. Missy, God bless you so much. It's going up the timeline. Golda, when I mean to tell you that the Lord had you before me and I was praying, I did. To the Hunt family, a husband and wife, it's such an honor. To everyone right now, it's Monday and I am resting. I'm a little hoarse because I preach Saturday and Sunday. And I meant that when I said, I refuse to take an L in this season. And I meant that thing with everything I hold dear. So I came home and we had Soul Food Sunday. But I want to talk to you really quickly about serving. What I did a couple of moments ago, I had a conference call. And I was on a conference call to London, England. God bless you, Rodney Brown. It's an honor. And I was on a phone call with evangelists. And the power of God hit the phone because I am on my way to the UK for a conference in July. And what she said to me, she said, I just want you to know that there's someone coming from Scotland because you are loved in Scotland. And she began to speak to me about people who are coming from certain areas that is not based in the United Kingdom. And so we began to pray and it just, the power of God just hit, just boom. And as I began to get off and I began to converse with my husband, the Lord brought me back to Charlie. The dog, yeah, Charlie. So what happened was a couple of moments before I took on the conference call, Charlie, it appeared that he ate something. And she ate something, and because we had Soul Food Sunday, she might have gotten a hold to something. And so Charlie began to kind of regurgitate and not digest whatever she had eaten. And so what I did is, Tanya Harding, don't make me cry. Don't do that, Tanya. She said, you are loved worldwide. This is why we're here. And so as I begin to run the water and put Charlie in the water, I begin to wash her with care. I begin to tell my husband that I begin to wash her with care, that I don't care what was stuck to her behind or mangled in her fur. I handled her with care. I washed the dog and I was handling her like she was a baby. I wasn't upset. I just handled her with care. I'm going somewhere. As I began to get off the conference call and the Lord brought me back to washing Charlie, he said to me, he said, you serve every living thing with a servant's heart. I'm going somewhere. And as I began to wash her fur, begin to wash her behind and wash her little face, the Lord began to minister to me about serving. You got served. And even though some people may look at that as a bad way that you have been somewhat disrespected, no, not in that sense like the movie. Look at it in the sense where the word of God said in Matthew 23:11 that the greatest among you is the servant. I begin to think about the word servitude, and a lot of people lack servitude because they don't understand how to serve. They don't understand the heart of a servant. They don't understand why people who do the things that they do. And the Lord said, because servants are faithful over the few things. And when servants serve with the few things, then I can trust them with the many. And so it brought me back to the conference call that people from London and Scotland and Africa and from all over the world that happens to enjoy worshiping with us as a movement in a nation. The Lord said, because I can trust you with the little. I am going somewhere. Thank you, right, Tasha? The human heart has 4 chambers. It has 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And even though we have 4 chambers in the heart, the Lord began to deal with me concerning a servant's heart. He said, there's one thing about a person who serves, but it's another when you serve with the purest of hearts. The purest of heart means that every chamber that is facilitated in making oxygen and blood flow through my body is taking up space with my worship. It is taking up profound areas in the chambers of my heart that before I serve my husband, I serve the Lord with gladness. Before I serve the people, I serve the Lord with gladness. Before I serve anybody, it means that customer service is beyond impeccable. It's unusual. A servant will go beyond the call of duty to do the duty that someone else doesn't want to do because the excuses don't let them see that care is needed. I'm going somewhere. There is something about being a servant that does not have time to entertain the conundrum of life that causes strife and hardship and jealousy and all of those things that makes a person's outside look ugly or the inside looks ugly or however you see a beautiful monster. It's because they don't serve from a pure place. 4 chambers in the heart, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. In every crevice of your heart, you're supposed to serve in a way that is unusual. And I said, now God, now you're bringing me to the dog. I get what you're saying, but how do we help the people? They don't have to wash Charlie. He said, no. But I'm sure that many people who are looking at me are in a hard place because you don't want to serve right. You don't want to serve right. And God is looking at if you serve me with not just gladness, but if you could take the time and the care of something so small that needs your attention and time, then I can trust you. I don't want to just trust you with the small things. I don't want to just trust you with things that is easy for you to handle. I want to know if you could serve me when the chambers of your heart is blocked with people's buffoonery. Can you serve me with the chambers of your heart when you don't feel like praying, when you don't like your neighbor? Can you? So it means wholeheartedly all 4 chambers of your heart is occupied with giving the Lord my best. See, you have to learn to give the Lord your best. It means that when you give the Lord your best, you'll serve him not just the best way you know how. You'll go beyond the call of duty. There is someone, thank you, we're talking about my skin again. It is collagen. I will put it in your inbox. I'm trying to talk to the people about serving. Thank you. When you serve people, it doesn't matter who comes against you, you still do your job. When you're serving the Lord with gladness, no matter who's presenting madness, my chamber is filled with doing what I have to do to bring God joy. When you serve, the chambers in your heart is too full. And the chambers of your heart is so full that I serve in a place that I'm going to look crazy. Serving God means that I don't care what I got to look like. I'll give him all that I got so he can trust me with the little bit that I have. And when you serve the Lord with the little things, the big things, that's just a bonus. And so when someone says, how do I receive all the good of the land from God? You have to look at what you're occupying the servant's heart that you're supposed to have with. When I wash my dog, I'm serving. When I feed my family, I'm serving. When I'm preaching, anything that you do that requires equity, sweat equity, love, compassion, passion, whatever you do, when you do it with a servant's heart, it comes out differently. When you do it with a servant's heart, it comes out from a place that nobody make no mistakes about it, no matter what people say. You can't serve like she can. You can't do what they do because your heart is occupied with stuff that shouldn't be occupied with, but the chambers of your heart should be full with joy. I'm glad to do it. Now, have you ever went to someone's house and you sat down or you went and you saw a way to work and they're serving you and you don't leave a tip? You don't know sometimes, I'm going somewhere, sometimes they're serving from a place that they just need something to get them through the next hour. Let's go to Denny's, shall we? Let's do that. I was preaching in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and we went to a restaurant. We went to Denny's because all the power had gone out. And, you know, we were in Spartanburg. The power went out at Cracker Barrel. And even though I wanted some good old pancakes, and I'm not giving them a plug, I just happen to like Cracker Barrel's pancakes because I can't eat nothing else. The lights begin to flicker. So I said, come on, y'all, follow us. When we get there, we just going to find some way to eat. Oh, there's a Denny's. We went inside of the Denny's. But as we were sitting down to eat, this woman, the way she served us, it was impeccable. She didn't serve us with an attitude. She didn't serve us because, you know, she had to go back and forth to the kitchen, and she didn't get upset because, you know, salmon wasn't done all the way through. She didn't get upset. She didn't get upset about, not that we weren't being disrespectful. Everyone that was at the table had a different type of palate, which requires a different type of service so that we can enjoy our meal with joy. And so she did not mind going to get the syrup. She didn't mind doing any of those things. She didn't mind Eddie changing his mind 2 or 3 times, or she didn't mind any of that. She served with a servant heart. The crevices of your heart, the top and the bottom, with 2 cells, chambers up top, 2 tops at the bottom, all of these chambers that are going around, she could have said, I ain't doing that. She could have said, look, that table over there, not us, but even the one behind us, is a little too difficult. I bought that ketchup out here 3 or 4 times. But as I squeezed it, there was nothing at the bottom. So she said, I'll get you another one. Don't worry about that. What she did is she served, and after the bill was paid, we left a good tip. Watch this. But as I begin to watch her, because I watch something called details. I'm very detail oriented. People ask, well, why do you put yourself together like that? Because I'm very detail oriented. I'm detail 777. I'm very detail oriented. And so I begin to watch her. And before we left, I said to Fred, I said, baby, give that to her. Give that to her. Hey, Denise Morris, give it to her. He said, all of it. Give it to her. We went, we gave it to her. As we got ready to go, there was a QR code on the wall. And I said to her supervisor, I said, that young lady, the way she serves, y'all need to have a whole plaque put her on the wall. He said, well, if you don't mind, take that QR code. And she would love, her name was Lisa, she would love to have a good old review. And she was talking to Fred. And when she came back, she said, thank you. With tears in her eyes, she came back and she said, you really don't know I needed that. See, you don't know what people need when they're in your presence. They don't need to hear strife. They don't need to hear jealousy. They don't need to hear hatred. They don't need to hear what issues you got, because someone needs some gladness. See, when you serve the Lord and you serve him with gladness, you really build up a resistance of people's jealousy and madness, because I don't have time for that. I have to serve. Are you an octopus? Are you an eel? A squid? Are you? Okay, the woman in the car has fallen off her rocker. No. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this, Pebbles, because what you don't know about these sea-like creatures, the octopus specifically, the octopus has 3 hearts. 3. Each muscle in an octopus heart has a different functionality in its body to make it move on the earth's floor. You're not an octopus. No, we're not. We have 1 heart with 4 chambers that God is going to use. Let me ask you a question. How are you using that 1 good heart God gave you? He gave you 1 good heart. You don't get no more after that. I don't care how many pig hearts. I don't care how many cow hearts. I don't care how many transplants or whatever it is that people are doing to get them to the next level of the day. You get 1 heart. Let me ask you a question with the 4 chambers. How are you serving? How are you serving? If you are serving from a place that is dark, it's going to show. Serve with gladness. Everything you do, you want to know what's wrong with the world? The heart has gone cold. Anytime you see what's happening, never mind over in Ukraine. I read in the New York Times today that there was a man going around, and unfortunately, he is taking the lives of innocent homeless people who don't even know where the next meal is coming from. This cold-hearted individual is going around snuffing out their lives. I pray he gets caught and fast. A person that doesn't have a good heart has no good in them. It's not in them. They don't know how to say something nice. They don't know how to receive nothing. I got to ask you a question. How y'all serving today? Do you know when you pay things forward, it's got to come back? Because a servant serves from a place that's unusual. Ask somebody that today. How are you serving today? Yep, you at work. Somebody's getting on your nerves. You're tired. You're frustrated. How are you serving? At the church, how are you serving? Your pastor, whether you like it or not, whether I'm your pastor or not, your pastor serves from a place that is selfless. And all you got to do is keep their back in? That's crazy. How are you serving? How are you serving? If your heart is cold, I'm sorry, you're not going to receive much. Because the Bible that I read said, the greatest among you is servant. Thank you. You saw what just happened, right? No flu. Wasn't playing. I told you I was a little hoarse. I started coughing. And immediately my husband stopped what he was doing. And he came and he gave me some water. It's not a plug. Aquafina is not a plug. You have some relationships and you won't serve each other. You won't even ask, are you okay? You have some people in relationships and they won't even serve each other, but you will take advantage of someone serving you. See how all things work together for good? Perfect timing, perfect timing. No need to say the blood of Jesus, I'm good, I'm not choking. I told you I'm hoarse. Servitude can go a long way, especially when you need it. If you know someone that is around you and you have not even asked them, are you okay? If you're in a relationship with someone and you didn't say, is there something I can do for you? You need to rethink what you're in. Because servitude can go a long way with a positive attitude. Servitude is such an amazing thing. And when I serve people, this is just me, and this is for me to tell my truth. When I serve people, I do it in a way that's excellent. There is something called the excellence of God. He does things excellent. If you do a conference, do it in excellence. If you're doing a church service, do it in excellence. If you're baking, if you're doing anything, do it in excellence, because there's a way that you serve from a place where God dwells. The other day I made some yams. Bishop Wesley, oh man, he taught me how to make these yams. They were slamming. And he got upset with me because he's my brother and he could do that. And he said, turn the camera around. Let me see how you cut them yams, girl. And I cut the yams and I just chop. He said, no, you ain't doing it right. So, just cut them long ways. Shell, she cut them long way. And we went through this whole plethora of conversation because he said, you got to serve them yams right. I did. Someone said I'm in tears. I'm fighting right now on this morning. This is the word. Listen to Dana Jones. Just receive it, honey. Just receive it. Man, Wesley talk. He took me through the whole process of making some good old yams. They was good. He said, now when you serve them the way I told you to. They're gone. They even licked the bowl. There's nothing left, because not only did I serve it right, I made sure that I went through what I did wrong and presented correctly. I'm asking you, check how you serve, because you are going to get served, but you'll receive good service if you give out good service. It is so true, whatsoever a man sow, that shall he reap. And if you reap a good seed of service, you reap a good harvest of plenty. And so as I served Charlie, I said to myself, I said, I get it, God. He said, because you were faithful over the few things. That means you took the few things and you served right. And so now that I see that you can serve with the little, he said, now I'll make you ruler over much. And most people don't be ruler over much is because the way you serve when you were in lack. It is a consistency that God is watching how you serve. You just got served. And if you don't serve in the way God himself is pleased, why would he give you anything else? Check the way you serve. Goodbye.